Welcome in, Advice Pod. My name is Kyle. This is Raysean. This is our friend Jeremy. And we are going to start the week off nice and light. Nothing too serious, except for what is the one thing your teacher did which you will never forgive them for? I had a very distinct memory come to my mind when I read this post first thing, and I got kind of, hot and bothered in a non-sexy way, and felt I needed to talk about it. But do you guys have any terrible experiences with teachers that have left a scar on you for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I have one, and it's actually, this happened to me in second grade. Story sounds a little bit unbelievable, but it's true. So I had this one teacher. Her name, I can't even say names. I'm gonna say Miss.
Dude, I'm saying my kindergarten teacher's name, dude. I'm getting it all out there today.
I had a teacher named Mrs. H, and I really didn't like Mrs. H because I was previously in a different class, and her name was Mrs. F. But they moved me to Mrs. H class, and Mrs. H was kind of a loudmouth type of teacher, and I really wasn't for it.
Okay.
So one day, I had wrote on this piece of paper, you know what? I dislike Mrs. H, and you know what? Because she's a fat, loudmouth teacher, right?
Is that exactly the words that you use?
These are the words I wrote.
Second grade Raysean is so wholesome. Okay.
But you gotta listen. You gotta listen to the whole story, bro.
My bad.
I took this piece of paper, and I swear to God, to this day, I don't know what happened after this. I took this piece of paper and I threw it in the trash. That's what I believe I did, right? But somehow this paper got back to my teacher with so much more shit written on this paper that I did not fucking write. Oh man, I was in so much trouble for this paper that it was crazy. And the fact that I was trying to explain this to the teacher, they would not. Oh my God. It's just the fact that she was like, no, I know your handwriting and this is you. I'm like, ma'am, I don't like you. And we all know that. We know that. But I did not call you no fat bitch. And half the words on this paper, I can't even fucking spell. I did not and then it just became such, I was in detention, I feel for 2 months. This shit in second grade. This shit was fucking
So this has been a long-standing mystery in your life as to how all of these extra things just ended up on this piece of paper you threw out?
And how the fuck it got to the teacher?
I mean, if you threw it out in her classroom.
Funny. And then what to me was so funny though was the fact that the teacher, Mrs. H and Mrs. F, were close friends. So now she was mad that about the paper. So I was getting bullshit from two teachers. Oh, this shit was fucking hilarious. I fucking remember this shit to this day.
I mean, Mrs. F was probably telling Mrs. H, oh, Raysean's such a nice kid. He's going to do well in your class. And all of a sudden you're this fat loudmouth bitch. I hope she gets hit by a car. Are you sure? Let me ask you, man, because I think about this a lot when I think back to any childhood memory. It doesn't necessarily have to be one where I'm going to be in trouble, but you ever think that you rewired parts of your brain to be able to believe that story that you just told us? And in reality, maybe you did write some more shit outside of she's a loudmouth teacher that I dislike strongly or whatever PG shit you originally wrote down.
Well, if that happened, I must have really blacked out and just was like, fuck it. And just wrote hella shit because I do not remember half that shit. Because I remember looking at the paper and I was like, who the fuck? Because in my mind, I'm like, it's people in my class that fucking hate me because they fucking took this paper and just wrote all this crazy shit and then gave it to the motherfucker and basically was like,
what do you think, dude? This is your chance. This is your platform. Out them.
Who did it?
I honestly couldn't. I couldn't even remember everyone that was in that class. I just remember those teachers. But if I could go back, maybe if I can get a yearbook from that class, I probably could give you probably a name. Yeah, I never really did fuck with this person. You know what I mean? Y'all got me really wanting to look into some shit and pull up some beef on some motherfucker. Hey!
Deep dive investigatory journalism. I mean, we're not really journalists. We're just trying to get you some, what's the word?
Peace, man.
Trying to clear your name, dude. I'm trying to clear your name with Mrs. H.
And then it'd be crazy. You go back and realize it was me. I had a blacked out moment. They'd be like, yep, that's That's when it all started.
I mean, sometimes you go off on these rants where I'm like, man, only like a man completely possessed with anger would think of such an idea, never mind actually execute on it. So maybe it's just early signs of that, but you were just writing shit down, you know?
Who knows, man? I never know. I hope not. Some people tell me, you might be like low key undiagnosed bipolar, but I'm like, yeah, I just see a different version of me that I don't see. So, version of me, I see it be very like, people be like, you have no patience. I'd be like, I'm very patient. For the amount of bullshit that I put up with, I'm very patient. But it just seems like I'm not patient.
I'm the most even-keeled dude that I know. Jeremy, what's your terrible experience with a teacher that's never going to leave your brain?
I have kind of a serious one, and then there's a funny one with a camp counselor. Do you want serious or funny?
You know, it's funny you said this, man, because I was talking with my dad the other day, and he's like, you know what you should do on advice is in the first segment, you should give earnest advice up front, like you're honest, whatever, like the more serious stuff in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we do some unhinged advice on the situation. So in the spirit of that, let's give us the serious one first, and then we can hear some funny shit about a camp counselor on the other side of my story.
Sure. Around, I'd say 9th grade, just got into high school. I went to an alternative high school for the lesser thans, the dumbers. That's what they called them. That's what the teachers called us.
The dumbers.
The dumbers. And
you're making that up, dude. Those teachers did not call you that.
No, that's real. You can check. And
that's hilarious.
We
not me. Not I didn't feel like that. But like
no.
It's crazy.
But I was in that school, and we were just getting to the Christmas part of the. We were getting to the Christmas regimen. We were doing Christmas activities. The teacher handed out Christmas-themed papers, and we were doing them. I was doing one with my friend. I had to figure out some equations to color in a Christmas tree. It's so stupid. It's kindergarten shit. But I got a little frustrated at a question. So I made a joke to my buddy Miguel. I go, hey man, this is so difficult. I'm gonna jump off a bridge. Lighthearted high school joke. No cruel intent behind it. But I mean, like,
different.
I was at an alternative school.
Yeah, they probably was like, oh hell no.
Yeah, and they sent me to the counselor, who I have a gripe with and still have a gripe with, and she was just like, so we're gonna send you to this place, and you're just gonna be there. We don't know when you'd come back. You just when you figure yourself out.
Jail, bitch.
Yeah. When you figure yourself out, come on back, and then you're all good. Sure, dude. All fucking golden. So I go to this place. Fairly nice. The people there are cool. We watch The Simpsons every day, which is fun. That was like borderline awesome. But yeah, it was so stupid because I just made that one comment to my friend, and I was sent there for 2 weeks before Christmas. I was like worried if I would make it back to home time. It was I mean, to me it was funny, and I enjoyed watching The Simpsons, especially since they were airing the classic Simpsons episodes, and
so seasons like 3 through 10, probably somewhere in there.
I was about to say we started on season 3. They were running a whole marathon of the entire show. We started on season 3 and ended around season 8, season 6. Golden era. I couldn't have loved it more. I think that's when Conan was on. I love Conan.
Dude.
So, yeah. It all could have been worse.
I guess, but like
that is crazy. They really took that really serious. And you know what?
Whole weeks, man, a little over the top. You think that they would get you in there for a couple of days and be like, "Oh, actually, this kid was just making a joke." Never mind.
It's different when you're a kid. They have like more power to like keep you there. I think when you're an adult, you can leave, but when you're like a kid, it's like, no, you can, your parents can't even get you out. Type
you
shit.
You can
like,
be involuntarily committed as an adult as well.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm
you
100%.
probably have to prove it or something like.
Well, somebody else has to prove it on your behalf and call the fucking cops and be like, this person needs, some kind of intervention here.
I could prove it myself. Just give me 2 minutes.
Just talk to me. I'll make a bridge jumping joke while I'm doing a math equation again. Just watch.
Just you fucking wait.
But I just wondered, like the teacher morality. I guess she just felt like she really had to go report that. She was like, Jay, he could have been joking, but he really seemed like that math problem was getting to him. Like, you know what I mean? So y'all might want to talk to him. Counselor, you said you want a counselor, then fuck with each other. So she probably was like, you know what? Fuck it, send his ass.
I still see.
But was it a bad experience though? Was it like shitty room or anything? Or
oh no, the room was great. My roommate kept telling me how he fucked someone outside of a morgue or in a morgue. Either way, that's a crazy story, and I think that's really interesting. I don't remember this.
I would have been writing books. I would have been like, bro, keep it going, because man, that your imagination is off the charts. What you do with this motherfucker in the did you fuck? Was it a real person? Like,
oh yeah, I love that guy. I hope he's well. But yeah, it was crazy, but I loved it. It could have been so much worse.
Damn. Yeah. Okay, well,
so what happened with the counselor? Are we gonna get a Crystal Lake story?
With the camp counselor. Well. With the other counselor, the one that sent me to the place to wrap this all up, I still see them coming into work, and they're like, "Hey, Jeremy, how you doing? Like, you're good? You're good?" And I'm like,
"You're not dead? Aren't you glad I sent you away for 2 weeks before Christmas, your freshman year of high school?"
Oh,
you better keep all your comments to her. Very scenic, because she'd be ready to report your ass.
Or just let her have it and be like, "Hey, yeah, look how crazy I am. I think it all started when they sent me away for 2 weeks and I got influenced by some bad people who were fucking other people in morgues or outside of a morgue."
She'd be like, "It sounds like your ass need to go back. Let me make another phone call real quick."
No, I just told her to have a nice day, which I mean is pretty badass on its own if you think of it.
I feel it.
Yeah. The ability to be the bigger person sometimes does make you feel like a badass, even though you do want to like secretly punch them in the face. You know who I want to secretly punch in the face, and I've thought about it every single day for the last 30 years?
Who?
My kindergarten teacher. Her name was Mrs. Austin, and she was a fucking bitch. One day, snack time. Dude, listen, all right, I've learned a lot of things about myself in the last few years. One of them, I don't know, is like I had to do time in like these special sort of like extra off to the side classes in like kindergarten and first grade. There was maybe like 6 or 7 of us, and I just thought that I was cool and getting to like go do a special activity with the other lady who was way nicer than my shitty ass kindergarten teacher.
I was trying to figure out if you could read.
No, I could read. I was a very good reader. It was more about like how terribly shy and quiet that I was. I guess I thought I had social issues due to that. So, hey, they weren't wrong. But, I brought Oreos one day for a snack, and I don't know. We usually would like assign duties. Like each person would take a turn being the table washer for the week, and then like it would rotate. So like after snack time, that person would walk around with a little bucket and a sponge, wipe everybody's table up. We'd say, "Hey, thank you, whoever the fuck." One day, the person who was supposed to be wiping the table was out, so the teacher just did it herself. And she came by my desk, and she saw a bunch of crumbs from my Oreos, because, again, I'm fucking 5. And she, like, gave me the most intense talking to about how much of a mess I had made with my Oreos. To the point where, like, and I honestly I remember the start of the interaction, and then the rest of it just goes blank, because I guess I just shut down my brain for the day or whatever. I don't know. Being bullied by a fucking adult over some cookie crumbs. So I was pissed. I go home and I'm like, "Yo, Ma, I don't want you to give me Oreos anymore." And she's like, "What? Why?" I'm like, "No reason. I don't want them." She's like, "No, what happened?" I'm like, nothing. Everything is fine. Oreos don't make a mess." She's like, "What? What's that about?" I'm like, I had Oreos today and they just kind of made a mess." She's like, "Oh, did somebody say something to you about it?" I was like, "My teacher's such a bitch. I want to punch her in the throat. Mrs. Austin with her short haircut and her mean face. I hate her so much." And my mom was ready to fight her. She didn't for some reason, which is surprising because my mom was kind of scrappy back then. But I still think of that woman all the time. And I really have not seen her since probably she left the school like 2 years after that. So like up until I was in second grade, I'd still see her around, but can't say I've seen her since. And you know what?
Punch that fucking bitch in the throat.
Yeah, hopefully, for her sake, she's dead because otherwise I'll have to punch that bitch in the fucking throat.
I mean, you can still punch her in the throat.
Yeah.
What, I'm gonna go visit her grave, dig her up, exhume her body, punch her in the throat, and put her back.
Not that hard.
It's not that
Motherfuckers don't get to just get off because they died. The fuck, bitch? This ass whooping was coming no matter what.
I'm sure
it's getting served.
I'm sure a part of it is just I'm an overly sensitive person, so I was a super overly sensitive child. So any adult giving me fucking shit like that, I was just like reactive to and shut down about. But man, I mean, it's not the only time I've had an adult scold me. Obviously, I'm a person, but man, has that one stuck with me for whatever reason. And that teacher bitch deserves a teacher punch right in her teacher face. What's your fun one with a camp counselor though?
This is, to me, a fun one, and even during it was a fun one because I was experiencing it with a best friend. Alone, it would be traumatizing, like it was for the one kid. I'll get into it.
Oh no.
Me and my best friend, Daniel, I met at a summer camp. Cute, right? That's cool. The next year, we went back to the same summer camp. Even cooler to me, and in the cabin there was this kid named Payton, and this kid was a troublemaker. Your average wore just a white t-shirt every day, was cursing out the teachers like, you don't know shit. All around just bad apple. Either way, one day the counselors decide, oh, let's do a funny prank on the kids. You know how counselors will do funny pranks for the kids. So this one, I don't know. I still don't know like why or how they thought this was a good idea, but I think it's funny, so I'll let it slide. They put blindfolds on each and every one of us and took us out into the woods. Great start to it. Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like frat hazing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like slowly, like led us out into the woods. We walked in a single file line with our blindfolds on. I was right next to my friend, so me and him were just kind of like, cracking jokes about it. Hey, we're gonna get kidnapped, bro.
We're gonna join the code.
You would want to do that with your best friend too. But anyway, this kid Payton he's not really liking the prank. I don't think he really got it. He started crying, and there's crying and there is sobbing. This kid was sobbing. He was like very audibly like, oh no. But me and Daniel really didn't like this guy. He was an asshole to everyone. So we were just kind of like, dude, I mean, this is funny. This is objectively funny.
Even if we are getting marched out into the middle of the woods to be shot right now, at least we get to see Payton sob his eyes, or hear Payton sob his eyes.
Payton might know what's happening at the end of this.
For sure. I love agony and would 100% love to see that before my demise. But anyway, we're being led to the in the camp. There's a beautiful zip line that goes over a ledge. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. It's high. It's vast, glorious. There's a little ledge right before you zip off that's facing this wide, beautiful forest. Again, very high and deep and tall. So they take each individual kid and be like, all right, we're gonna take you to this platform. Or they don't say it like that, but they like take one to the platform and they're like, all right, we want you to scream as loud as you can. Got it? So we would hear kids being brought towards other counselors, and then we would hear right next to a giant ledge. And there was a part of me that was like, oh sure, I could probably die right now, but for the most part, I think this is a prank. I mean, I hope it's a prank. And slowly we get brought up. It's me, Daniel, and then that kid Payton. I'm first out of the lot of them. And then I get my blindfold, and then I scream as loud as I can because I want to play into it. That is fucking hilarious. And I go back to Daniel, and I immediately let him know, like, hey, what's up, man? I'm still here. Anyway, and then he immediately gets brought up. He does the scream, comes back, and then then it's just, at this point, it's just cruel. It's just me and my best friend watching this fucking kid sob his eyes out, thinking that he's gonna die. And we're laughing at him. He sucks. It's I think warranted. But the whole experience is just watching that kid cry his eyes out. Even though I thought I was gonna die, could possibly die, I had a good time. I had myself a great old time.
That's the important thing, dude, is you took a shitty situation where you were probably, maybe in your child brain, oh no, I'm getting marched out to the woods by some adults. Am I coming back from this? Am I going to get murdered? Am I going to get butt touched or whatever? But you were like, you know what? Even if I am, it's fine. Because fuck that kid Payton. He sucks balls.
I would fucking do it again. To watch, I would go into the woods, march into the woods, actually get murdered. To watch that kid suffer. Even if he was still 9 years old at the time, I would give my life, and I wish I could.
There is nothing more that I want for you than exactly what you just detailed.
Me too, man. Thank you.
All right. Well, if you made it this far into our murder-ish video, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to hit the next subscriber goal. Make sure you check back in tomorrow for an Am I the Asshole post. Something about taking kids, or we taking one kid to the amusement park versus not the other kid, because maybe the other kid's a fucking asshole. So we'll jump into that tomorrow. Maybe bully some more children and advice.
Don't be a butt cheek. Boom.
Bully more children.